Now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, Paul, thanks very much. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a Sunday night edition of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. You call us. It's as simple as that. 412-575-2600. That is the number of the Bordas and Bordas hotline. We also take your tweets at KD Pomp. Let me know what you think. And we'll begin with the Penguins, who lost again last night. And now they have an interesting assignment tomorrow in Philadelphia against the hottest team in the NHL. Flyers were left for dead, much like the Chicago Blackhawks about 6 weeks ago. All of a sudden, they've made up a lot of ground on a lot of teams, including the Penguins. They're 9-0-1 in their last 10. And they have been really sparked by the young 20-year-old goaltender Carter Hart, who's been outstanding. They haven't had goaltending in Philly in a long time, but now they have a kid who's providing it, and they're playing well. So, you know, that's a 6-point separation between Pittsburgh and Philly right now, and there are 3 games left head-to-head, beginning tomorrow night in Philadelphia. And then later, of course, they have the one at Lincoln Financial Field, the outdoor game coming up at the end of this month. In the meantime, a lot of teams have gained on the Penguins, who right now sit fourth in the Metro. Now, I grant you, it's very tightly contested, although the Islanders won again today. So now they're at 72 points. That's 9 more than the Penguins. They're on top. Washington is next at 66, then Columbus 65. They won last night, and they beat Vegas in Vegas. And then it's the Penguins, followed by Carolina, which had a chance to jump the Penguins today, but the Devils beat them. So don't have to worry about them, at least for now, but they have gained a lot of ground as well. So it's going to be an interesting final 27 games for the Penguins. So I ask you, what is their problem right now? Special teams. Mike Sullivan is scratching his head, shaking his head, doesn't have a lot of answers. He was asked about it last night. Shorthanded goal. They lead the NHL in 12 shorties allowed. And so now the question is, are they not listening to him? Do they not want to play the way he suggests they should play? Or are they just a team that, you know, says, well, we'll turn it on when we have to turn them on, which is a dangerous thing to do, by the way. There are too many teams that are right in the mix here, and you may not think home ice means all that much. I still do. You want to play games at home if you have an opportunity to do that, even though they have proven they could win on the road. But this is a dicey situation as they move forward, and they got some real tough games coming up here in the next several weeks. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. And don't forget, the trade deadline is coming up in about 2 weeks. And during that time, you would think the Penguins are done. They've made a lot of trades already. Jim Rutherford has been busy. But he may feel the need to do more. I think a lot of this hinges on the health of Evgeny Malkin when he gets back, and can he resume not what he was doing, but get back to the level he was, what you would expect from a superstar player, not a minus 20. Also, Matt Murray needs to prove that he's not just a good goaltender every now and then he gets hurt. He's got to be more reliable. He has not been. I'm not saying he's injury prone, but he's been out of the lineup quite a bit over the last couple of years, and he needs to be in there when he is. He typically is one of the best in the game. We saw that after his last injury when he came back and went 8-0-2 with a couple of shutouts in that group. So the Penguins find themselves right now with a big game with Philadelphia. We'll talk more about that. Also, we'll get into, have you watched the Alliance American Football League in action? Last night was on KDK. It debuted. It actually outdrew an NBA showcase game between Oklahoma City and Houston, which is a little bit surprising. But I think there was an intrigue, a curiosity. I don't know if these ratings will sustain themselves. We'll see. But we saw today Christian Hackenberg, former Penn State quarterback. He's in this league now. Mike Singletary is his coach, and after 10 of 23 for 87 yards and 2 picks, Hackenberg was benched, taken out of the game already. So your thoughts on that? Let me know what it is. And what do you think about Le'Veon Bell's situation? The fact that the Steelers are still considering a transition tag. We'll talk about what that means, what their options may be, and more. So call us right now. It's 412-575-2600. This is the place to air your opinions, to vent. Call me. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call on the Bordas and Bordas Hotline. We return right after this.
Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, putting new roofs on Pittsburgh homes for over 25 years. Call Ireland Contracting at 1-800-NEW-ROOF.